I want to do a quick update on the oil market. Today is January 12th, Thursday, 2012. January 12th, Thursday, 2012. Uh, I had this little psychological prediction, and I just know the way these markets go. Everybody panics. It's emotional trading, 90% of it. As far as at least on the short terms. The crude oil took a nosedive today, as after it had some serious gains this morning. It was going up, and I had to look for what the heck the news was on that, because this is what I was hoping for. Now, I didn't buy back in yet, and I might be missing a boat, but I'm going to guess it's going to go down a little bit more. But there's two conflicting plays that are happening at the same time. The reason this took such a nosedive today was that oil declined as the European Union's Iran oil embargo said that it's likely to be delayed for 6 more months. Now, there's a couple conclusions you can make from this. You think Israel's going to sit on the sidelines and wait? Doubtful. I doubt it. They're not going to wait for 6 more months for an embargo so the sanctions can take hold in Iran, and that's when it's going to start from. It's not going to happen. That's why I know I have a pretty good handle on, I don't want to say I know the average Jewish mind frame, but I know they're getting antsy about this, and they're probably going to nail Iran. I think they're going to do it. Not in the next couple months, though, because it's the winter time. But they ain't going to wait 6 months if the sanctions aren't working. I know that. Oil dropped the most in 2 weeks after a proposed European Union embargo of Iranian oil imports was said likely to be delayed for 6 months. So that turned all the bull market out. They're dropped the prices on the oil. Now, this is the drop, but I do find this very interesting. You can see this spike, and I never know why these kind of crazy spikes occur once in a while. Sometimes I'll see these even in the currency markets, and it always makes me wonder who was on the sides of this trade, but being this radically different for 1 minute. What happened here? But as you can see, the oil did take a big hit today, and it's similar to what happened in a recent knockdowns that occurred when oil was dropped down to about 95 or 93, and but it's a pretty good size hit. Seeing like this was happened back in December 14th when they had the Euro meeting. After that, there were some problems with the Euro that came out. Also, well, this is the Euro meeting here also on December 8th. Oil took a hit along with silver. So, which I find interesting, it's strictly contained in the oil market. Of course, it's strictly about an oil embargo. But there is some conflicting news that is very bullish for oil right now. And I'm expecting, well, normally when you see these big hits, it kind of drops a little further, I mean, you really don't know what the hell it's going to do, but it looks like it drops a little further when you got a big hit. But I'm not expecting this to go all the way down to like 93 or something. It might, but I'm probably going to buy it back right around in this area, 95, 96, around this area. If it goes that low, it might not. I might be doing it in smaller pieces just to be, and that's probably always the best bet, not to try to make it into 1 or 2 pieces where you maybe buy back in 4 or 5 pieces or 4 pieces, and I'm thinking that's a better strategy. But if it goes lower, I'll get back in it on double leverage, the dangerous stuff. It could even drop more, but I do expect some things to turn around. And here's another thing where you're probably going to see the price of oil go up is due to Nigeria. Now, I know I read a couple things, and I don't have the source here, but I'm going to comment on something on this too. There's something else, a little bit conspiratorial. This was a major Nigerian union threatened on Thursday, which was today, January 12th, to stop the beating heart of Nigeria's economy, crude oil production, as part of a nationwide strike and protest gripping Africa's most populous nation. So world oil prices climbed on the news. That was this morning. Now, what came after that was the European Union delaying the oil embargo on Iran, so that dropped the price. But this didn't happen. The strike didn't happen yet. So Nigeria is the fifth largest oil exporter to the U.S., and a shutdown would force American refineries to replace 630,000 barrels per day of crude. That is more than what those figures are coming out of the record figures from the Bakken Reserve in North Dakota. It's over 500,000 barrels. It's over 500,000 barrels a day. But it's the Nigerian amount that we import is more than the North Dakota Bakken Reserve oil that's being produced locally. So this would put, if this happens, and it can happen pretty quick, it would change the price of oil quite a bit. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to say right away, and there's a reason for this. I think I'm going to go a little bit conspiratorial here, but I sense that there's big players behind the scenes pulling stuff. The union's ability to enforce a shutdown beginning Sunday, talking about 3 days from now, across the swamps of Nigeria's southern delta, is to its massive offshore oil fields remains in question. Don't know if there's going to do it. Now, Union President Ogun said if the fields are shut down, it could take 6 months to a year to restart them. So if they shut these oil fields down, it's going to be like a major spike in oil prices, more than what Libya had. Now, I personally think there's a little more to this, but Ogun also said natural gas shutdown would turn off the nation's power grid, which is already in shambles, and you need the power grid to produce the oil, right? This is something, now this part most oil firms, including the dominant Royal Dutch Shell, said they are monitoring the situation. Now, I wish I had the source, and I don't want to just blatantly say this, but I guess I'm kind of going by memory. But I remember reading someplace that Royal Dutch Shell was actually financing some of the rebels. Which means that kind of goes along with, that thing that Lindsey Williams said that I don't really trust all the way. I don't think he gives you great information, but basically correct. If there's some kind of racket to get the oil prices up there really high, well, what you'd want to do is you want to have that revolution in Nigeria, right? You want to cut off the oil. Now, I'm leaning toward the guess, I'm going to put it this way, that they're not going to do this right away, because the powers that be say this is a Rothschild company, right? Royal Dutch Shell. They don't want Iran to get strong. Now, considering that European Union just voted to delay the embargo by 6 months, do they want the price of oil to go way up and there to be a shortage, and then Iran's going to get all that money? No. So I would guess, could be wrong, but my gut says that this isn't going to happen right away. And my gut says that Royal Dutch Shell is actually behind a lot of this. And when it happens, they're going to be part of it, and it's going to be good for them. So, Kenneth Arnold, an independent petroleum consultant and former Shell engineer, said it would be very easy to shut down Nigeria's oil fields. Bringing in replacement workers to run the fields raises dangers because everybody around here wants to get in on this operation because it's a poor nation. So I think when this happens, it's going to be the powers that be are going to shut this down. It's kind of be the same, I'm going on a conspiracy theory, okay? I think the powers that Lindsey Williams isn't bad. I mean, you got to read into a lot more than what he says on the surface. But I think this is what's going on because I don't like the way his thought process are personally. I like, I think I'm a little more. I like his basic information where he's getting it from. But normally when you get this big drama announcement, it usually doesn't happen right away. There's like a yin and a yang. So this is still on the back burner, and this can really drive up oil prices really fast. But I think this might come about right around the time they're going to attack Iran. Then the prices can go way the hell up. $150, $200 a barrel. And you definitely want to be in double oil at that time. So that's my plan. I'm still never going to totally diminish my oil position all the way, but I'm not going to be mainly in a double oil position. I don't like that fun too much because I'm aware of what it does, but I was holding it for a long period of time because I didn't want to show any more income. So that was one of the deals why I was holding it. But considering it's 2012, I'm going right back to my normal ways because it's a new year now, and I don't care if I make money, So here we're looking at the oil dropped down to 99.12, and this morning it was, way the heck up there. I mean, it was. I think this was this morning at. It was like I think it was like 102 or 101 this morning. It was quite a bit. So it took a major hit today just on that news. So I expected probably to float down a little bit more because you could see when it took a big hit here, it kind of floated down another dollar or so. Now I don't want to buy the majority of it over 96. I might buy a little bit around 90, around in this area. I might miss it. But that's the way I'm going to play it. Then I'll look for another opportunity. But I don't feel like it's a really good deal till it gets down around here someplace, especially around, if it dropped, quick below 95, it's not going to do that right off the bat. But if it does, that's when I'm going to move in on it. And this Nigerian news, it's going to kind of help keep the oil markets afloat. Because you got to remember, Nigeria produces way more oil than Libya ever did. And they can cut off their oil in a second flat. And just kind of repeating myself, Israel is probably going to get extremely antsy about the sanctions not working because they're not going to be doing this oil embargo. And I don't think they're going to come out and say, we're going to attack Iran, but they're going to be planning on it for sure. Definitely. Far more so than even they were. That they're going to be setting some definite plans. And it's not going to be out on YouTube until it happens. But you know what's going on in their mind. They got to be getting antsy about this stuff. So I think that's going to be coming down. So once that happens, you might see a double whammy. Nigeria and Iran. Iran being attacked. And Nigeria is having a revolution. And you'll see the price of oil go way the hell up. And I hope I'm in that stuff on double leverage hard. That would be a good way to play it.